Right then, I want to do this video to show you how I go about updating the Poisson pack with the new leagues for the summer. A lot of people have been asking recently. You can tell it's getting towards the end of the season. People are getting twitchy about not having anything to bet on over the summer. I know the feeling. So I'm going through and adding summer leagues, creating forms for summer leagues so that we can carry on through the summer. And to be honest, some of the summer leagues are my favourite ones to trade anyway, especially some of the South American ones. The Brazilian ones I've always had good success with. MLS just for the excitement and the craziness of it, a little bit like the A-League, but yeah, anyway, that I digress. So I'm just going to show you how I go through making the templates and sort of populating them a little bit. If you hear any background noise, I've got 4 guinea pigs and they're eating spinach really loudly right next to me, so sorry about that. So let's have a look. So as you can see, I've already done the MLS. I've done the MLS, so I've got a data sheet for each league. So this is all the home and away stuff. And then I've got the fixtures and the predicted outcomes that have all worked, and I've got Norway. So I've done the MLS, I've done Norway, Sweden, and I'm about to do Denmark with you to show you how to do it. It's worth noting at this point that a lot of the forms are returning errors. That's because there haven't been enough games played. I think there's only been 2 games played in some of the Scandinavian leagues, so when we're getting zeros, a little bit like the Australian league still at the moment for some of the home games, haven't had any teams haven't had any home games or haven't scored any goals at home or conceded at home or away, and it means some of the figures are 0 and you can't divide by 0. So that's why we need to make sure there's been enough games before we can start using the pack, not only because we want accurate data and we need a data set of sufficient sort of size, but also because it literally won't work if we've got zeros in it. So that's why this is all in preparation. I won't make this live yet because it's not going to be any good to anyone. So I'll just show you what I'm doing for the Denmark league then. So I've copied the templates over, just duplicated the sheets, called them new things. So duplicated the data sheet, called it Denmark, duplicated this, called it Superliga. So as you can see, it's still got the Swedish data in it. So for the data, what we're doing is I'm using an import HTML function. And so if we have a look here, on the Swedish data tab, you can see here we've got an import HTML function. So if I copy that and take it over to the Danish form, you'll see it will fill it in with all the Swedish data, which we don't want because we want Denmark. And I'm using at the moment, I use a few different sites, but I'm using Sportsmole at the moment because it's laid out in the way I want it to be. It's laid out with the home and away table separately but on the same page, and I need it to be on the same page because otherwise it gets really messy if you've got tabs. Import HTML doesn't work with tabs, so if you know, and you have to go to a drop down and you select home or select away for the leagues, it can't recognise without some sort of code, it can't recognise what tab you've selected, so it'll only do the home tab. So this one's got it laid out nicely, so that's why I'm using this at the moment. So we've got home table and away table here. So what I'm going to do is grab the URL and go back, and if we look at this, this is filled in for the Swedish league. So I'm going to take out the Swedish HTML because this is the page for the Swedish league, and I'm going to paste over the Danish one. And we want table 2 for this because you can see, sock away, you can see this is the first table. You have to reference the table number from the page. So that's the first table, this is the second table, so this is the home. So we want the second table, and we've got columns 2, 3, 7 and 8, and that's because what we want for this is the team name, how many games have played at home, how many goals have scored, and how many goals have conceded. So that's column 2 because the numbers are column 1, column 2, column 3, column 7 and column 8. And press enter and it should populate with the Swedish stuff. There you go. Less teams Danish, get my Scandinavian countries mixed up. So these are the Danish teams, and as you can see, that's copied it over from this table here. So you've got Viborg at the bottom there, and we've got Bromby at the top, and we've got played 9, 14, 8, Bromby 9, 4, 14 against 8, just to show that it's copied the right stuff over. So, and then here we've got, actually we've copied and pasted that 1, 2 in the wrong place, haven't we? So I want that there. There we go, so that it has the headings properly. And then even though no one sees this, I like to format paint it because I'm anal like that. So that's better. So now I've already got my formulations in here just to do the averages, my formulas even. So it's obviously it's just an average, so it's just goals scored divided by games played. So that's the averages there, and it's already there as well. So that automatically populates once these are pulled in. So that's it for the home. We're not going to need these, but we'll delete those in a minute. So then that's for the home fixtures, the home table. So for the away table, it's the same, except we want table 3, like so. And now we can see we've got the away stats pulled through. So Copenhagen top, and that team beginning with a V bottom, as you can see. So Copenhagen 9, 21 and 6, just to show. I like to check that it's correct here. 9, 21, 6, and again I've got the formulas in there to do the averages. And now we can remove these extra fields, because obviously when you use a template and just copy it over, all the leagues have got different amounts of teams in them, so we don't need those anymore. And then down the bottom, this is the important part as well, we've got the averages, more so just for the goals for and against, but I've got averages for the whole field, for every field on the table. So there we go. And then magically this calculates over here. So because we've got the formulas already in there, we can have a look at how that works. So for the attack strength for the home teams, you can see we've got E4 divided by E17, because what we want is the average goal scored at home for that particular team divided by the average goals scored across the league. So that's there. And for the defensive strength, as you'll probably figure out, it's the same but with the defensive stat. And then obviously for the home and away, we've got the same. It's worth noting that this here is pulled in from here. So we've got to populate the lists here for the home and away attacking strength. Instead of just listing the names, we've used a cell reference to say pull in whatever's in cell A4, for example, here, because these will change as the season progresses and it pulls it in from the website. Obviously this table will change, the positions will go up and down as teams win and lose, which means the names here will change and the order of the league will change. So it's not static. So that was a mistake I made at first. This isn't static. So if I said just typed in Brøndby here or typed in Copenhagen here, the next week this could be populated by Randers and this could be AAB, and it would all throw everything off sync, which was something I didn't notice at first. So that's something worth being aware of. So now we've got everything we need for our Poisson calculations now. So we can skip over to this page. Now what we do on this page is where we get all of the good stuff, all of the results. So first what you need to do is we've got the drop down. So as you know, I copied this from the Swedish League just so that I didn't have to do a whole new sheet, but we've got the drop downs for the Swedish League. So what we need to do here is do the data validation and change this to make sure that it's looking at the it's actually looking at the moment Norwegians, because it's okay, whatever. So we need to make sure that looks at our new Danish data. So we're going to click here and we're going to go here, and this is why it's not always in alphabetical order when you look at the drop downs, which I know is a bit annoying, but it's because it keeps changing and it takes another workaround to get it into alphabetical order, and it's not always worth it. So there you go, we've got the correct drop down now, and now what I'll do is just literally just copy and paste that over to all of the other to all of the other teams. I won't do this while you're watching because it's going to be boring, isn't it? So now we've got the correct teams. What I would now do is go over to Soccerway and look at the fixtures, just because if I'm going to be filling it out, even though we're not using it yet, I'd rather fill it out with real fixtures than just fake fixtures to make sure it's working. So Denmark Superliga. So okay then, so we'll Copenhagen as the first one, so we can have a look at that. Copenhagen, and what was the next one? We'll just do 2 for now. Brøndby AAB. So Brøndby AAB. Okay, cool. So that's that done. So now we're looking at the actual guts of the Poisson distribution model. As you can see here, the formulas, we're using a VLOOKUP to go and look at the data page. So if we look here, it's looking at the Norwegian data. So what we first need to do is make sure we get the right reference for the sheet. So we take that out, go back to our Danish data, and for that field we were looking at the home data. So we're doing this, and we're just going to put some dollar signs in here to make sure that when we copy and paste it over, it copies the right thing when we use it in the future. So so hopefully now Siltball, we'll see, will be 106 for their attacking strength at home. Yep, 106, so that's worked. So then for their defensive strength, we can do the same, but now we want the third column. So that's the first. The attacking strength was looking at the first column. The defensive strength will be looking at the second column, which is again that reference. So we're looking at 106 and 052, so that's correct. And then we're going to do the same for the away team. So this time we want to be looking at, we can copy it, but we've got to make sure we change the range. So the range here is, and we've got to change this to D because we want to be looking at Copenhagen. And for the range, we want to be looking at, instead of 04 to Q15, we're going to be looking at, you can have a look up here, R4 to T15. So R4, leave the dollar signs in, T15, there we go, 1.83, and you can copy that over. Okay. But now we want to be looking at the third column instead of the second column. Oh no, what have we done there? There you go, 183045, hopefully. Is this going to be Copenhagen's away? 183045, it's nice when it works, isn't it? So you can see that's how we generate it, and as you see, now that's generated, now we've got the stats correct there, it's generated the value odds based on those calculations. It doesn't mean much at the moment because there's hardly any games played, but you can see that that's now calculated these value odds. And across here it's also filled in the Poisson, because I've already put all the formulas in. It's filled in the Poisson distribution correct score, and it's referenced that, and it's got our correct scores here. There is more to that than you can see there. So we've got a lot of sort of references over here, but you can see, so that's just a quick walkthrough of how I'll populate the leagues. I've already done, admittedly, most of the work by doing the Poisson formulas everywhere, and so I've just been copying and pasting over, but I thought it might be interesting for you to see. If you've got any suggestions on what leagues you want including, let me know. I'm going through them at the moment, so I'm doing the Scandinavian leagues, obviously the MLS, I'm going to do Brazilian and Argentinian, maybe Colombian, Uruguay possibly. So let me know if there's any that you particularly want, and I'll get them included. Thanks very much.